Thank you, Paul. And it has been a little humbling over the last couple of months as I've joined ClickHouse to hear terms like wealth of experience and my own personal favorite, industry veteran, which just is code for I've been doing this a very, very long time, and I'm pretty old. But it has given me an opportunity to reflect and to learn, or at least to think about what I've learned over the last 20, 25 years working in the technology space, and probably the biggest thing that I've been able to take out of it. I was around in the early days of virtualization on x86, when at VMware we had to go to customers and say, we think it's a really good idea to take your physical machines and to virtualize them, and actually to virtualize your whole data center. Or in 2011, when we would go as part of the early founding members of Amazon Web Services and say, hey, rather than have all of these services running your data center, what if you were able to just access them on demand via APIs in some kind of utility-based format, which was pretty confrontational to a lot of people back then, but now makes total sense. Or back in the early 2020s, when in the early days of Databricks, we would say to people, you will move, it's almost inevitable, to some kind of single unified cloud-based data platform built on open systems. And what I've learned going through those experiences is you want to be on the right side of history. There's no point in the technology space doing anything with a headwind. If you're pushing the ball downhill, you're probably going to win. And I think, based on the discussions that I've had with customers and partners right across Asia Pacific over the last 2 months, we are looking at the right side of history when we think about building real-time architectures inside of our data platforms. I think it's true to say that a few years from now, this idea that I'm going to want to access data from my data platform, and that data is going to be T-1, T-3, that we're going to be thinking about huge amounts of energy and time invested around structures like extract, transfer, load, that Spark is going to be the main way that we're processing through massive amounts of data. Those are going to seem like pretty crazy ideas, because the things that we do with our data will mean that that data needs to be available incredibly fresh, and it needs to be served with amazingly low latency, with incredibly high proximity. Everything needs to become real time. And that's a problem today. Because if you look at the way that traditional incumbent data platform providers are thinking about real time, they're looking at technologies like Spark structured streaming. They're looking at snowpipes and similar types of technologies. And while those work, certainly I would say in the ingestion space, those work pretty well, the amount of cost and time and energy that's required for anything real time is so much that it makes it almost prohibitive. What we want is a data architecture that says, suddenly, everything is real time. From the moment I think about taking that data from the system that's producing it, all the way to serving it for whatever use case it is that my business needs, everything is happening in real time. And I think at ClickHouse, we're taking advantage of that. We're riding that wave. I think together, if we think real-time data architectures, we can all be on the right side of history. And you can see it in the genesis of our company. For those who are new to ClickHouse, and I get the feeling that most of us have some kind of idea what ClickHouse is based on the conversations I've had this morning with a few of you, we started a number of years ago to solve a problem about clickstream analysis. And so, the clue's in the name. ClickHouse stands for Clickstream Data Warehouse. But really, the challenge was huge amounts of data where we want to be able to ingest it in massive volumes, and then we want to be able to provide access to and query that data with incredibly high concurrency and with very, very low latency. But the journey since the formation of ClickHouse, the company, has been about building a real-time platform. There's this idea that inside of the data architectures that we've all been building for the last 10 years, there is now space for us to create this capability that is a real-time data platform. And so if you look at the acquisitions we've done, if you look at the big innovations we've done, which we've now called things like ClickPipes and so on, those have all been to build out the platform where ClickHouse, the database, becomes that central engine. But we're thinking about how do we ingest data seamlessly from the systems that are producing it, the transactional systems, and then once data is in this real-time database, what are the use cases that we're going to prosecute that are either going to help you drive top-line revenue, they're going to help you save money, or that are going to help you protect your organization in real time, because that's what data needs to be today. And this has had an incredible effect on our company. You heard Aaron, our CEO, in the video talk about the fact that it took us a number of years to get to 3,000 customers, and then suddenly in one quarter, we've gone and added an additional 1,000 customers in just one quarter. Now, I've been a keen scholar of all things customer acquisition in the technology space, particularly around disruptive technologies, for many, many years now. And probably for me, the seminal work on this is a book called Crossing the Chasm. I don't know if anyone's read the book Crossing the Chasm. It's an awesome book. If you haven't, you should still go read it. It's probably a bit dated now, a bit like me, but it's got a lot of lessons for all of us. And really, the key takeaway from Crossing the Chasm is that there's an adoption curve. And it kind of looks a lot like this adoption curve, except there's one thing that's different. If you go to the beginning of the adoption curve, you start with the innovators. And then over time, you get to the early adopters, and then you get to the early majority, and then you get to the late majority as you move up that curve. And you would think, looking at this curve of customer acquisition from ClickHouse, 4,000 customers around the world, increasing by 1,000 customers in a single quarter, you would think that we would be hitting certainly the early majority, the traditional companies who are a little slower at bringing new technology stacks into their data architectures. But that's not the case. It would appear, looking at the actual customers who are using ClickHouse today, that we are still just at the beginning of this journey, that we are still super early in what we do. In fact, look at who some of our largest customers are. All of these massively innovative AI companies are all turning to ClickHouse as their primary data platform to support not just real-time use cases, to support all of the use cases as they train these models, as they start to think about observability around these models, and as they run these massively scaled cloud architectures to do both training and inference for all of their customers. We're still working with the innovators, despite the fact that over 4,000 companies around the world today choose ClickHouse as the primary component of their real-time data architecture. So what does that actually mean? What is real-time data architecture? And we are far from being able to answer that. But I think we're starting to make some really important moves to being able to define, okay, a real-time data platform looks like this. And the first thing I would say is we need to be able to get the data, and we need to be able to get the data in a way that's easy for you, but that's also incredibly fast. So the data that exists within the real-time platform is the data that has just been produced by the transactional systems, and we're working incredibly hard to make sure that wherever your data is, if it's in Postgres, if it's in MySQL, if it's in some kind of transactional database, or if it's in a data warehouse, or if it's in an open file format like Delta or Iceberg, you can now, using our ClickPipes technology or similar technologies, in an incredibly seamless way, have that data flow like electricity into your real-time data platform. And once you have it there, and once you have the ability to work with it in an incredibly low latency way to be able to support incredibly high levels of concurrency, you can then say, okay, what are the problems I'm going to solve? And there are many. I've been meeting with customers across Australia over the last couple of months, and you would be amazed by the real-time use cases that people are prosecuting. Certainly things like fraud inside a bank, things where you want to be able to reach out to customers and show them data in real time to enhance the customer experience. New business models that software companies are coming up with based on selling their data or providing access to their data real time. I think the case for real-time use cases, no matter what industry you're in, is becoming well understood. But also, a pretty canonical use of a real-time data architecture becomes observability. And so at ClickHouse, we're working up and down the observability stack to make sure your lives are easier. We're making sure that we support an open telemetry fabric, and that also, on top of ClickHouse, for visualization and the application of AI to all things observability, we're providing a capability there as well, so that for those of us who are builders in the observability space, we're able to move out the incumbent observability vendors who are seen as expensive and a little bit dated, and move everything to this real-time architecture that we've built inside of our data platform. The other key thing that people are depending on observability for these days is observability into their AI stack. And that becomes really, really interesting, because not only do I want to do observability as I create these agentic applications and understand in real detail, what are those agents doing? How much are those agents costing me? Are they providing me the quality of service that I require from them? Can I trust these agentic applications? But you're also starting to think, what does the data platform look like that's going to support those applications? Because the way in which agents want to access data is incredibly different to the way in which humans want to access data. The agents will query the data with all of the things that ClickHouse was built to service, with incredibly high needs around concurrency, needs for incredibly low latency. The agents are on 24/7, and it just so happens, because we are on the right side of history, that the ClickHouse architecture that you built inside of your data architecture is the best platform to support that. But that wasn't enough. We realized we had to continue building on that, because the agents are also going to want some kind of transactional capability to support them. They might want to store data because they want to create some sort of memory. And so at ClickHouse, we've extended the platform in a really important way. We've said, okay, well, we will provide those agents with a transactional capability. We will have a managed Postgres as part of this real-time data architecture. But what's important is not just that we've offered now for those agentic applications you build a managed Postgres capability, and it's not just that because we're a real-time company, it's not just because we've really indexed on the performance of this Postgres capability to support these agents, but it's also that we've blurred the lines between the OLTP and the OLAP, so that now I can move data seamlessly from these transactional stores, from these managed Postgres capability, through into my OLAP database, through into ClickHouse. And also, I can have the agents start to work through Postgres and query things inside of ClickHouse. The barriers between the transactional and the OLAP are starting to be broken down. It's starting to all merge into one thing, a data platform. And so that's how I would like you to think about ClickHouse, as a real-time data platform that I'm able to put into my data architecture that can seamlessly take data wherever it is in real time, and that can support these use cases, whatever they are, the real-time use cases, the observability use cases, the observability of the agents, but also can support my ability to build these next generation of agentic applications.